Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And this is from directors Joaquin Dos Santos, Kim Powers, and Justin K. Thompson, from writers Lord and Miller, and starring Shameik Moore as Miles Morales, who's back at it again, and Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman, and a whole collection of characters this time around. But going through this is possibly one of the most visually striking animated films that I've ever seen. It is so engrossing and so inventive in the way that it utilizes colors for emotions. It has different animation styles for each different world that we visit in the Spider-Verse. It's such an interesting, strange mix of even like stop motion moments, maybe a little live action. And it's all rolled into this beautiful package. And the soundtrack is emotive and beautiful. Daniel Pemberton's score is electric and elevates every single scene, from drum beat moments that connect deeply to Gwen Stacy's character to this strange kind of industrial sounds of tension to something so moving and beautiful with its synths, and it just layers everything. This is a 2-hour and 20-minute animated film that does not have kid pacing. It doesn't have that American sensibility of needing to get everywhere quick. It takes its time. It molds in the emotional moments which Dos Santos and Powers and Thompson are able to get all of that emotion out. Even how the film deals with exposition is done so visually and uniquely that, like, incorporating comic books into them, and it makes everything interesting. Even when you're sitting there listening to exposition, this film is interesting. What it does with Miles and Gwen's stories separately and gives them each incredibly deep and moving arcs across the film is incredibly poignant and really impressive. There's so much depth to this film in terms of Miles and his parents, played by Brian Tyree Henry and Luna Lauren Velez, and just the layers that each of their journeys bring us and bring us on. You have Gwen and her dynamic with her dad, voiced by Shea Wingham, who's Captain Stacy, and the trauma that Gwen's been through to get to the place that she's in right now. And the whole entire mythos of this Spider Squad. There's so many details and complexities. There's some revelations about who Miles really is in the grander scheme of this whole entire story that is so impressive. And there's so much mystery about it, and it builds great tension, and by the end of the film you're reeling from some of the revelations about what's really going on with his story. Now, as the film gets towards the end, I do feel like it's trying to I feel like it struggles a bit trying to figure out exactly when to end. And then when it does end, it really is that, oh, really need to set up for something that's going to happen right after this. And it could challenge you just like Dune did. And so I hate comparing it, but Fast X did in terms of having an ending that feels satisfying. I do feel like this film is more satisfying with its ending than the other two. I do feel like this does lean more on like the Infinity War ending of being like, oh, we're left here. But it does still feel like there's things that it's just like, wow, I'm going to have to wait this long and try to get satisfaction from these particular elements that are left hanging. But it's the kind of film that delivers so much emotion and so many thrills. The action is incredible and inventive and will blow your mind. This film has so many amazing characters. It has a love for comics in a way that it's hard to process sometimes, just how much is really out there in terms of spider lore. And there's so many great performances. Each vocal performance is so important and layered, or does its job so pitch perfectly. Moore and Steinfeld are obviously the standouts here, but everybody else from Tyree Henry to Velez, Oscar Isaac, his Miguel O'Hara, this Spider-Man 2999, or 9999. I'm not very good with all that stuff. He is ominous. He is intense. He brings a whole other game to this. And his presence brings so much tension to everything. Jason Schwartzman as Spot, the main antagonist, he has a very interesting performance that evolves throughout the film, done in a lot better way than some other characters. But there's one big standout who's Daniel Kaluuya, who plays like Spider-Punk. So great. So cool. But there's just so many great moments here. But the thing is, this movie isn't just a bunch of thrills and a bunch of moments. There's so much heart and soul to it that just elevates it so well. But I loved every single second of this, even if towards the end it felt like it was really trying to find its footing. But I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse, but now I have to. And it's going to be tough, but we'll make it through. But those are my thoughts on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.